Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Shackled City. I hope everybody is having a lovely night tonight in our re-intro into a classic here on Twitch. Yeah. Shackled City is pretty close to my heart. It is the game that took me from new on Twitch to very tired, quite exhausted, frankly, if I can be real. Well, I've learned a lot since then. I've met a lot of people. I've played in a lot of games, a variety of games at that, not just limited to D&D, but I have had I guess I could say I've been awarded and earned my spot amidst some of my favorite people online, and they've taught me a great deal. So, I want to take a second to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and watching episode 1 of the Shackled City, Which Slumbers. So, let's talk about it for a minute. I want to make sure that everybody is aware of whom you're seeing, because you're going to become quite familiar with them, as this is a 1 to 20 campaign, originally designed for Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition. We'll start with the top left in the arrangement. We're going to go to Rowan, aka Farm.
Hello.
Next, we've got Carter, also known as Jackson Decay.
Hey there.
With Aiden, that's Gen Human.
Hi, everybody.
Solsora as Christy.
Hi, everyone.
And then Aaron, not to be confused with Aaron Yeager.
Hello.
That's Ivysaur. I'm your humble DM. I am your hostess at the mostest, and I'm hoping that I can carry you through this adventure in one piece, but I would like to develop some expectations and an understanding of what may befall you. This campaign is hard. Now, I want to put emphasis, okay? This is not just hard, it's challenging, it is difficult, it is here to test you. This is going to run and feel more like what you would expect out of a game that deprives you of resources, that limits your sanity, and makes you question every step along the way. I am here not just as your narrator. I'm here as your advocate. As your +1 to the party, I want to see you succeed where this game wants to see you fall. Cauldron is alive, and it cares not for your backstory, nor the pleasantries of your existence, simply that you exist in a space that which it demands full control. And as you act out of kind, as you act far and away from it, it will respond, oftentimes fatally. So take a drink, my friends, because we're about to dive in to Shackled City, Which Slumbers. Now, before we hit the bricks, I wanted to be clear to everybody and everybody watching. Tonight, you are safe from wild magic. You are safe from the lunacy of NPCs that are driven by Patreon. You will be afforded, for the sake of this experience, 1 luck reroll. Not another. No more can be bought. I'm just leaving them there. However, with time, all things come to an end, and your safety is amidst those. So before 2026 arrives, we will see the integration of full luck rerolls. We will see the integration of potential desperation dice. The integration of Patreon NPCs. And all of the things in between. Let's dive in. Cauldron. The first thing that you learn about Cauldron is that it leans. The streets lean, the houses lean, the people lean. Everything tilts down to the dark. right around the lake at its heart. All of it is just packed inside the black stone bowl of the old volcano. Even in the high summer, the rain comes often. Thin, gray curtains that turn steep cobble into treacherous slides and send rivulets of muddied water trickling down to the center of town. And from the high terraces above, where the nobles live, coin and comfort spill down in careful, guarded streams. From the low terraces, sweat and hope run the other way. Ships don't come here. Caravans do. They drag in the sugar cane from the plantations, ore from the mines, timber from the jungle, spices and strange fruit from further south. Nobles and merchants count their profits in gold, and the people who load their carts and clean the streets, well, they count their profits in silver, one long day at a time. The walls here, you see, they're tall and dark, great slabs of this greenish black stone that locals swear are older than the city itself. Some call them malachite. Some call them volcanic glass. Some swear that they are salvation. Others call them a curse. Whatever they are, they loom over everything. Cauldron feels safe and somehow trapped all at once. Now today, the sky is low and bruised with clouds. Rain threatens but hasn't quite committed just yet, and the bells of half a dozen temples argue with one another up the slopes, and somewhere a watch sergeant is already shouting at someone to sweep water out of the gutters. It's just another day in the Shackled City. And in a few hours, none of you will be strangers anymore. I'm going to start our story by asking Solsora, can you please give me a description of your character?
Sora's kind of a mystery. She's got a helmet covering her head, chain veil in the front. You can see her eyes sort of peeking out from behind the helmet, but that's all you can see.
How does she carry herself?
She probably carries herself with a bit of, I guess, nerves would be the proper word for this. She's not really going to approach anybody. She's just making her way through town and trying to not be noticed.
So, Sora, you have been in Cauldron long enough for the alleys to learn your shape. For a few weeks now, you've slept wherever the rain couldn't quite reach. Under leaning balconies, in doorways no one would look twice at, in the shadows between buildings, where the stones still remember the warmth of the day. And when you can afford it, you buy a pallet in a crowded flophouse. When you can't, you curl beneath the cloak and trust to exhaustion to drown out the cold. But see, by daylight, your hood is always up. Cloth wraps your lower face, even beyond the chain veil. Your hands stay tucked under sleeves when you can manage it. And someone in your position, on the surface, is a story most people don't want to hear about. And frankly, you have no interest in being cast as the villain. It's easier if they see just another tired laborer, another wanderer with nothing but calluses and cheap boots to their name. And you know, the work is never glamorous. You carry crates, you haul muck, you unload wagons, clean places that no one else wants to look at, and the coin, frankly, is small, the hours long, and the looks that you get are even longer. But every day on ground, is another day in the sun. Another day where the sky is real. An open and real thing. And for you, that is worth more than soft beds and a warm welcome. Today, you are just finishing a shift. Arms aching, clothes damp with sweat and mist, when raised voices catch your attention near the city square below. You see a knot of people gathered in a collection. You hear the clink of armor and the sharp, familiar cadence of someone reciting regulation from memory. A boy, maybe your own age, maybe, when you first stepped into the sun, stands at the center of it all, his hands clasped tightly in front of him, fingers knotted like they're holding a prayer together, his clothes simple farm wool stained with mud and something darker, his eyes rimmed red, but they're dry now, beyond tears, into something harder. And beside him, a face that you've come to know, a figure of the note in the city. A one Captain Skellering of the city guard. Expression carved into stone, a voice level and unyielding as he recites. All official requests for aid must be filed and accepted as charter at the guild house before aid can be founded, accepted, and established. This is the law. The boy swallows hard. His voice cracks as he answers, Please, Dad's not well. He's not well enough to see what we see. He doesn't know what's happening in the fields. We only just got cattle in recent time, and this is the third that we found this way. He tells us it's the nature of things, and to not question it, Father can't even get out of bed, and his cries at night. He's not well. And I'm too young to understand what must be done, and I'm still not old enough to take over. I can't let my father's pride be the death of the farm our families before us worked so hard to build. Around you, people shift uncomfortably. Some look away. Some mutter about forms and taxes, while others say, well, it's not our problem. You've done every job no one else has wanted. Leaving the needy without hope has never been your nature. And this boy is very clearly running out of people willing to listen. Aiden. Aiden, you've been orbiting Cauldron, dipping in and out of the curious star itself for weeks now. Can you please tell us what you look like?
Aiden is relatively tall. I mean, he stands a couple inches over 6 foot, but he moves a lot better than someone whose apparent age would indicate. I mean, he's got the gray beard, he's got the gray hair. Walking along, he tends to plod along in a straight line, but whenever he comes to like crowds or groups of peoples, he seems to be quite proficient at kind of dancing through and moving through crowds, as if he's done it quite often in his lifetime. He's got his right hand's got calluses, and the first 3 fingers have a slight black stain on them, as if they've held a quill quite often. He often loops a pair of glasses or eyewear in the front of his tunic. Various reasons why he takes them on and off, but it never seems to be consistent, because sometimes he'll wear them to read, sometimes not. Sometimes to look at a building far away, sometimes not.
Now, Aiden, your steps follow questions more than roads. Whatever it is that you're truly hunting, answers. A pattern in the world, a shadow you've seen just out of sight, it has led you here with a quiet certainty that something about this place will make the silhouette clearer. Perhaps it's in the books of Blue Crater Academy. Perhaps it's in the streets. Perhaps even in the dreams of people who are too afraid to speak aloud. Today you are on your way to Blue Water Academy. Satchel slung over your shoulder, mind gnawing on half-remembered theories when a different kind of problem intruded your thoughts. And you see it. But you hear it long before you see it. A young voice, raw and earnest, cutting through the normal droning murmur of the square. You see the gathering, townsfolk in work clothes, a few guards, and at the center, a boy in stained farm leathers speaking to the captain. Captain Skellerang himself. You arrive just in time to catch the important words. His fingers flinched again in prayer. "We think it's magic, sir. There's no marks on them, no tracks, they're just..." His hands fall apart. "They're just emptied out. 3 cattle now. Something's wrong on our farm, and Father won't see it. He can't even get out of bed anymore. Please, someone has to look." Skellerang's jaw tightens. His expression one you recognize from any authority balancing duty and paperwork. "All official requests for aid must be filed and accepted as charter at the guild house before aid can be founded, accepted, and established. This is the law." His words echo in your mind. And beside you, someone mutters, "Well, the law won't plow his fields, now will it?" Aiden, you came here for your own reasons. To chase your own mysteries. But the word magic lands in your mind like a stone dropped in the still water. It sends ripples into all of the other questions that you carry. Whatever's eating cattle in some half-forgotten field on the outskirts of Cauldron, it may not be what you came here for. Or it might be exactly what you're supposed to see. Carter, please explain to the listeners at home what your character looks like.
Carter is a, really most part, quite well put together. He walks through the city with a almost curiousness to him, standing a bit taller than most. His face almost this sculpture-like chiseledness to it as his loose curly hair flows behind him. He's looking around almost excited, but anyone close enough probably can't figure out why, as his eyes look as if he's been too close to a fire or stared too long at the sun. There's a milkiness to them that he seems to just ignore as he stares with blind eyes at everything.
Now, Carter, you've not been in Cauldron long enough for the dust to settle on your boots. You were standing in a line at the gate, shuffling forward with coppers ready, individuals prepared to pay the non-citizen entry tax. You found this custom foreign, but very clearly necessary. So you stood, waited, and watched. The guards looked you over, sizing you up, eyes sliding from your face to your posture to something behind your eyes, something unspoken passed between them. You can hear them mutter something between themselves. I think that's him. I think that's who we're looking for." "Yes, passage," he said, as if that explained anything. "You've been cleared to come and go as you please." Instead of an outstretched hand demanding coin, the guard, with a short and respectful nod, produces a folded document, stamped and in front of you. Do you collect the document?
Yeah, I take the document and it probably very unnerving, like once again with the blind eyes just stare directly at the guard.
You
Oh,
begin to
thank
hear,
you.
as you thank him, you begin to hear the people around him. Someone hisses, "What's so special about him? Why's he get to go in free?" No one answers. The guards look at them with pointed vision, and their eyes fall. No more noise from the rabble. And Carter, as you step through the gates into a city of leaning walls and crowded streets, your thoughts humming louder than the marketplace noise itself. The walls here are, well, frankly, there's something else. Massive blocks of this green, dark stone. It feels older than the guards who patrol them. It feels older than the houses of the nobles perched above. It feels foreign, but so close to home. Your mind turned them over like puzzle pieces, wondering who stacked them, how, and what were they meant to keep in or out. You're still considering the strange geometry of this place when you hear a voice ahead, strained and desperate. In the square, not far from the gate, a young man stands opposite a squad of guards, dirt and dried mud caked to his boots. His clothes hang off of a frame that should be thicker for his age. A tarp-covered wagon waits at the edge of the crowd. Something dark and foul-smelling pools beneath it. The boy's hands are clasped in front of him, fingers interlaced in an old instinctive pose of prayer. Something that touches your heart. His pleas form arguments with the one defined by the others as Captain Skellerang. "Please," he insists, again, his voice cracking but not breaking. "Dad, he doesn't see it. He won't even look. Something is wrong out there and I can't fix it alone." The captain repeats the law. "It must be filed. It must be accepted at the guild house." And where your mind interprets the law, it reads the mood of frustration, of helplessness, a familiar resignation. And whatever brought you here, whatever strange currents nudged those guards to wave you through without paying, they've carried you straight to the moment. This moment that someone in this city is very publicly failing to get the help that they need. Rowan, if you would do me a favor and describe your character.
Rowan would look like the run-of-the-mill like worker. He's about 6 foot tall, tanned from working in the fields, dark hair, green eyes. If he's walking around the city, you probably wouldn't notice him. He's in regular peasant clothes, wearing a regular brown cloak, covered his face. If you did happen to see his face, you would see like your average blue-collar working man, tired, worked long days.
Now, Rowan, your road to Cauldron does not begin at its gates. It begins at a narrow, rutted track through wet fields, under a sky that can't decide if it wants to rain. And you walk with purpose, though you couldn't say exactly to what. Once your steps were your own, taken for yourself alone, my friend. And that ended the day that they found you. The savior who pulled you back from whatever edge you'd come to, the one whose voice has followed you ever since. Serve, they said. You'll know it when you see it. And today, you think you might be seeing it. It starts as a distant, weary creak and the low scrape of wood on packed earth. And then you see him. A young man, barely more than a boy, dragging a hand-drawn hay wagon along the road. The wagon is mostly empty, save for a large shape heaped in the middle under a tarped canvas. But the smell reaches you long before the details do. Something sweet, something thick, something wrong. The smell of rot has only just begun. Sweat slicks his face. His shoulders shake with each step. And when he stumbles, he drops to one knee and he begins to dry heave. You can see the body as it's trying to push forth anything that it can unto the earth, but nothing is coming. There's nothing left in him to lose. He's not old enough to be worn down like this. Not really. And Rowan, you step forward, and as you pull back his hat, you see it clearly. A boy trying hard to be a man because no one else is there to do it for him. There is a pride in the set of his jaw that does not match the fear in his eyes. And something inside you aches in response. It is like a hollow echo where your own past lives, where old failures sit, Rowan. You feel your benefactor's presence like a hand between your shoulder blades, nudging you the last step. And he looks up at you, desperate and polite, all at once. Please, just help me get to the town. I don't have much, but I'll pay your way into Cauldron. I can't do this alone. And there is a part of you that is grateful for the offer. It would make everything more simple. A bargain, a fair trade, and you could pretend that's all this is, but that's not what you're here for. You take the wagon handle with him anyway, and together you drag the creaking, foul-smelling burden to the looming walls of Cauldron, to the square where he will plead his case before men who've forgotten what it means to serve without a charter and a fee. Aaron, can you please do me the favor of introducing and describing yourself?
Aaron is taller than most, but similar, 6'3", built up, hard. But if you look at him closely, he's still a boy in a man's body. He's yep.
You integrate. You find. You've always felt that you've milled about and found yourself amidst the others, never quite fully knowing your position. Aaron, you have stood at Captain Skellering's side for so long that the city sees you as part of his silhouette. You've been with him longer than you remember being without him. First as his ward, then as his page, then a squire, and now something more. No longer a child. No longer an apprentice. You see, Aaron, you're held to a sharper standard than any other man under his command. The Lord Mayor may have signed the documents and made it official, but Skellering's training made it real. Complaints in your early days were met with labor and failure was met with more labor. Time, repetition, and sweat wore away the softness and left something efficient and steady in its place. Captain Skellering was never gentle, but he was never careless with you either. He may not be your father, but you've never known anyone closer. And today, you stand at his shoulder in the square. The weight of your armor familiar, the eyes of the city familiar too. And you've heard him recite these lines, the law, hundreds of times in 100 different disputes. Property line arguments, brawl fines, unlicensed merchants, but this one feels different. In front of your captain stands a boy, close to your own age. Clothes soaked with sweat and road dust. Hands twisted together in front of him like they're trying to hold his heart in place. His wagon waits at the edge of the crowd, canvas drawn tight over what you already know is a dead animal from the smell alone. And the captain speaks. His voice is firm, the words carved deep from years of use. The recitation prevalent. All official requests for aid must be filed and accepted as charter at the guild house before aid can be founded, accepted, and established. This is the law. You can hear the exaltitude in it. The comfort that he takes in rules doing the heavy lifting, you can also hear because you know him so well. The rough edge under the smooth recitation, the part of him that hates turning anyone away. The boy's answer sticks with you. He says, please, sir, Dad's not well. He's not well enough to see what we see. He doesn't know what's happening in the field. We only just got cattle in recent time, and this is the third that we found out this way. He tells us that it's the nature of things and to not question it. Father can't even get out of bed, and his cries at night show us that he's not well, and I'm too young to understand what must be done, and I'm still not old enough to take over. I can't let my father's pride be the death of the farm. Our families before us worked so hard to build. Around you, the guards shift their weight. Some look down. Some look away. Captain Skellering glances at you for just a heartbeat. There's a question in that look, one he's never had to put into words before, but that you know exactly what he's saying with that glance. It's the look of, what do you think, boy? Is this one of those times that the law is enough? Or is this one of those times when someone has to step beyond the law? Now you have all gathered. You are all set upon the scene. You are amidst the crowd, some of you closer than others. Some of you have your own reasons for saying and or doing what it is you're saying and doing. But the stage has been set, and the show demands an actor. The floor is yours.
Well, Sora will attempt to get closer to the action. She will probably be trying to push through, but she is not as tall as all of these people that surround her. But that will not stop her from getting to somewhere where she can actually see and be heard.
Do you try to push through the masses, or do you find yourself just looking for opportunities to step forward? One of these ways will help you become a bit more noticed than the others.
So Sora will attempt to find any way to get through without pushing, if at all possible. If she has to push, she will, because this case is more near and dear to her
Sure.
than somebody looking at her.
Sure. I get it. I understand completely.
And am I still next to him since I was pushing the wagon?
You're right there. Yeah. What about Carter?
He's making his way over like he probably doesn't know why, but the act of putting his hands together for prayer, like he is just trying to make his way through the crowd, but he's being polite about it. He's trying to, oh, excuse me, pardon me, if I could just get through, please. Thank you.
What about Aiden?
Aiden has quite a lot of experience dealing with crowds and getting through them. He's just kind of, it's almost instinct for him. He kind of puts his hand up a little bit, like, excuse me, pardon me, coming through. Just originally he was thinking this is a sad sight, but as soon as the boy mentioned magic, there was a little, it was more than just the feels. There was something else in his chest saying, we need to look into this. This is something different. This is anew. This is something that needs to be explored. It may lead to what I am looking for, even though I don't know how it connects yet. So it's almost like I'm carrying a trace, but excuse me, pardon me, coming through, and he just kind of dances through the crowd. And the people around him just hearing the tone, anyone who's been in a tavern or in a crowd and dealing with service people knows how to subconsciously just kind of step to the side because they know something is coming through that needs to be delivered.
4 of you begin to see through the lens of altruism. At least one of you sees a call greater than oneself. One of you moves with this questioning air of what this might mean. Others look at this academically as if this is an exploit for your understanding, but that if you can help people in the interim, it's worthwhile. But then of our 5th, you stand with steadied question. The captain glances down to you, Aaron, with that afforded heartbeat glance. He looks to the rest of his men. He tells them that this will be fine. Go along. I'll handle this, and we'll be back to post soon. The guards begin to disperse. And he encourages everyone else, please, head along. This is no point to gather. Go about your days. The others mutter, watching still, taking baby steps, affording and fostering a moment still to glean into the drama of what may be unfolding before them. Life can be boring. Misery loves company. And hearing someone in need reminds them that we're never too far from the fall. They rest easier at night knowing that the tears shorn are not their own. But some of you don't leave. Rowan, you stand roughly 10 feet away from Aaron. Though you are unfamiliar with each other, you get a greater sense that you will become more informed. As the others slowly begin to make their way through the knots of the crowd, finding chance in step, you close the distance. Captain Skellering looks to you again, Aaron. I trust that you'll handle this.
I'll handle it.
You'll figure out exactly what must be done.
Of course.
He says that, and you remember every time that the captain found himself in situations where he was the bleeding heart of this city. That it was more than just keeping people in line, stopping hostile acts. Sometimes you have to take one on the chin. Sometimes you have to Remove yourself from your position of authority. Empathize and commiserate. Captain Skellering leaves the square. The boy looks to you hopelessly as you can hear the steps of his boots begin to fall. Go ahead. You said before you had something else you wanted to say?
Yep. Before Skellering leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I say, Aaron says, I might be taking my shift off early, if that's all right tonight, Captain.
You get a singular curt nod. And then he continues walking. The rest of you begin to close the gap. Aiden, you can see that the captain himself has left his short command, his squire.
Excuse me, guard sir. I have a point to make, if you would listen to me for about a moment.
And you're speaking specifically to the squire.
Specifically to Aaron, yes.
Okay.
I'm all ears.
I've heard the captain's arguments, and he was saying that that procedure and protocol must be followed in the request for aid. However, I did remember this boy also mentioned the fact that there was some magical component that he feared. If you would permit, I could potentially check the source if there is magic upon this poor, unfortunate, I assume, body underneath this canvas. And then it would actually be, you could technically reclassify this as a threat to the city, and therefore the guild requirements for needing a specific request for aid and the paperwork could be superseded, and you would have a probable cause to investigate. Would that be permissible?
Aaron, he is very clearly not foreign to the law and figuring out ways to work a system. It's very clear that this is an individual of academia. He's not even bereft of books. You may even presume, after judging his intentions and sizing his position, that he might be on his way to Blue Crater Academy as you speak.
Mm-hmm. Would what he reasoned sound reasonable to me?
It certainly doesn't sound unreasonable.
Well, as far as the stretch to say a threat to the city, that's something that more than I would need to assess, or passerby as such, as studied as you look. However, I will not stop you. As dead as it is, it's still the boy's property, so if he permits, it is totally up to your discretion.
Aiden will turn and look down at the boy. Do I have your permission to examine?
When you turn to say anything to him, he seems to be deep in conversation with the man looming next to him. And this figure seems to be an individual weathered. Very clearly a field hand of some sorts. His body is not built for what you would assume is war, but his body is definitely ravaged by both time and physical effort. He's got that strong, thick build about him. His long hours in the field, never quite knowing when to call it quits for the evening. His skin is tan and deeply leathered from days in the tiring heat. And he seems intent and intense. Rowan, you wish to speak with the boy.
I would simply say to him, "Is there more?" and see what he responds.
When you say more, are you saying is there more cattle, or in reference to what exactly?
Is there more that he wants to try to do? Does he feel he's done enough?
I don't know if I've done enough. I don't feel like if I've not found anyone, I've not done enough. And I'm afraid that I've not found anyone yet. So I will keep asking for help until I find anyone who will. Carter, you begin to meander beyond the passers-by, the people that were looking onward. You've closed the distance. You're within 15 feet. And you overhear Aiden more or less discussing litigative responses, the means of meandering beyond the law into such a way that's not going to create issues. But that's never been a concern of yours. In fact, it's a droning. It's a drumming onward. You've never been one to be buried in legal red tape, or at least you've never felt that way. Your focus has never quite left the fact that despite his hands falling, they've never left the position of cradle, of hopes for any kind of assistance. You even overhear the man next to him, the labored farmhand, ask him if there's more, if he feels like he's done enough. And out of nervousness, his fingers start sort of moving about out of concern and hopes. But you can tell that it never breaks that prayer. His earnesty is palpable. His hope is fleeting. But he's not giving up. Just beyond them, you see a figure moving, armored in a very particular and bizarre fashion. You believe, by the way that she moves, that it is a woman. She's not as tall as many of the other onlookers, but she's every bit as broad. Dwarven, you would presume. You don't know why you would presume that. You don't even know how you know that. But you would presume it.
Oh, so well spoken. I'm sure you will have things sorted right away. But of course, you there on the ground, praying, child of the sun.
The boy looks to you. Me?
It's you, a farmer.
Yes.
Paylor's blessings. You said that you need a healer for your father, perhaps, and to look into these cattle that have been killed, was it?
I think that you should just see.
Oh, I don't see much.
And he turns as this conversation is still continuing before Aiden can even continue what he was asking the boy, and he slowly peels back the slicking sound of this tarp, this leather tarp over the top, as you can hear it peel away like the flesh of a man recently flayed, and it reveals what looks to be cattle where its outsides became its insides. Its insides became its outsides. Something has, with deliberate care, turned this thing inside out.
Well, that's not good. Would it be alright if I came and looked at what's been going on?
He looks immediately to the guard. Is it all right if they come? I don't have a request in at the guild house, and I don't know how much time I'll have to file for charter.
What's a guild?
You don't need permission to ask for help.
He still looks to the guard. Aaron, he's looking to you.
The charter is for permission to acquiesce city resources. These men do not belong to the city. You are free to take their help as you wish. Just know that everything is up to you. there will be no help from this. If you have time to go file, I would suggest you do so. But these fine people have offered help.
I don't think that I have a lot of time to file my... I'm just worried about my father. I'm just worried about my dad. I don't ask anyone else to understand, but I'm afraid that there'll come a time when this happens to someone I care about more than cattle. I have a baby sister, and she plays in the fields where the cattle was turned. And I don't expect anyone to understand, but it would destroy us if this happened to my sister.
Aaron's hand will tighten around his hilt. Is there anyone watching your family at the moment? Said your father's sick?
My younger brothers, but they are just boys still.
Well, it's not much time to waste then. I can't have you leaving this carcass in the city, so...
Then
let's make our way.
You're going to go. Are you not needed in the city then?
Did you not hear? I'm taking an early day.
Right. Right, well, and he looks to the rest of you, and the rest of you?
I also have an interest in fathers, and I have more than my fair share of younger siblings. I can't ignore this. And our fine city officer over here has, in essence, removed his badge. He also is just someone personally helping. I will be happy to go with you to the farm and take a look if you will accept my aid.
An adventure.
Good. You first.
That's all he says.
Oh. I'll say, boy, you couldn't even make it to the city pushing the cart on your own. I'll at least push it to back to your house.
We can't forget the stout one over there. She seems to want to help as well.
Before any of them reach the cart, the stout figure has already picked up at least one of the two handholds of this cart. Something changed when he mentioned his family, when he mentioned his younger sister, his younger brothers, that now, if she wasn't already wishing to help, she most certainly now has more than enough reason. We must get you back, boy.
We should probably find food and reskin for water. It's, well, by foot it's 3 days.
Food?
Food, yes.
Like this, and he pulls out a ration and holds it in front of the boy.
You see his mouth kind of fall open. Yes.
Oh, I don't use these. You want them?
Yes, I will. And he leaps forward to it, and he immediately just begins devouring. Like, it's almost as if he hasn't had food in a few days. And he realizes as he gets more than a few bites in, he looks around embarrassed. I'm sorry. Was this for other... What, if you're hungry, please have some.
I don't use those. I don't know why they gave me those, if I'm being completely honest. Would you like another?
Will you not need them?
I've never found a reason for them. I don't know what they're for, if I'm being completely honest. Come on, let's get back to your farm. Idle hands make devil's work.
Fine. Fine.
You want another?
Yes. Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
Here you go.
He takes the second and he's like, but for the rest of you, you should as well. It's 3 days. We are moving in the direction of Sasserine. It's halfway between here and Kingfisher. Aiden, you aren't unfamiliar with that path. You've been to Sasserine, and you used to live just outside of Kingfisher's Hollow.
Yes, Sunset. I may have passed your farm on the way to the city. I know the route well, and my dorm is just here outside the walls. I can grab a pack in lickety split.
Sure. Give me a wisdom test. This is going to be based off of your wisdom score. Just go ahead and click that for me, and we'll see what you get. A 5. It's not great as far as memory goes. Would you like to use your 1 reroll for that?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Perfect. Yeah, there are a couple of farms out there. You're not sure which farm it might be. You know, the region is known for a handful of things, particularly in the direction of Kingfisher Hollow. There are a couple of significant farms that produce a large amount of sugarcane and coffee. You're not sure which it is, or if it even may be that, especially since based off of what he said, they've just gone into cattle farming. But you have that. Is there anything anyone would like to pick up on their way to the farm? If you needed a moment to grab anything, mundanities, if you needed to grab food or water or stuff like that, or if you needed to spend your money, could potentially be your last opportunity for a minute.
I'm a traveler. I already have my rations and stuff with me.
Got it?
So
I
Sora-
might. Go ahead.
No, go.
I was gonna say, since this boy is starving, I might give him some money to just get food for himself to bring
Yes.
on the journey.
Got it?
But he'd have to get it himself.
He tells you it's not necessary. He does have his own money. He just ran out of food on the journey. You admit, as you guys start to pull the wagon, it's heavy. The wagon itself is naturally heavy. And then throwing most of a sort of a cow in the back, and he's pulling it alone. This is hard work. 3 days? 3 days is crazy. It's crazy work. So he's feeling it. He's tired. How about you, Aaron?
Because obviously it's no place for a dead cow to be in the center of the city. They will help the boy get out just outside, and then we'll let him know. Much like you, I have family that worries about me. I will go get provisions, and I will return right here.
Okay.
I suggest you all do the same if you are not prepared for this.
What you got, Farm?
How familiar am I with the city? I'm pretty new, right? I just came in with the boy.
You aren't very familiar with the city. You realize very quickly that the guard that originally was speaking to you, reciting the law, is a figure of authority. Everybody deferred to his decision-making, even the guard that's staying with you right now. Aaron very clearly deferred to his decision-making. He had higher marks on his armor, so that's a point of authority. You don't really know much in the way in regards to, some of the buildings. Cauldron's a large place.
Yeah.
It's very, very large, even. Very few cities this side of the gorge are bigger. You're looking at Sasserine might be bigger by a few thousand people, but you're not certain of a whole lot here. What might you want to know?
Just if we're passing that guild on the way out or not.
The Charter House. Yeah, you can find
Charter
the Guild House and Charter House for requisitions and request. Aaron's not wrong. In regards to that location, when you file for a chartered aid, you are acquiescing with resources of the city. So they have to determine the importance of it. And if it calls into question anything that might be important to the city, it might get bumped up in priority. But because the boy hasn't immediately spoke on what seems to be happening, produced a corpse, and has just asked for any help whatsoever, it's not going to go very quickly because things appear very muddled. So if you guys wanted to, I don't know, ask more questions of the boy, if you wanted to figure out anything that you can with the cattle corpse, if you wanted to ask more about the region, now's a great opportunity.
I do have some questions for the boy. I'll probably be like walking alongside him. So they call me Carter. What do they call you?
Dieter.
Dieter. Dieter? Dieter?
Dieter. D-E-T-E-R. Dieter.
Dieter. Dieter. Dieter. Okay. And you say your father's sick?
Yes. There's some malady that has taken control of his brain.
Do you think it's magic as well?
I don't know. He's been sick long since before the what's been happening to our cattle.
I
But
don't have a healer's kit with me. I'll pick one up.
As you say that, he was trying to say something, but as you kind of like turn quickly and go on, he sort of diverts back to sticking to his own. He rapidly devoured the first trail ration.
I did mark off too, so he's got another one just basically shoved into his hands as I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's under his arm at this point. He is slow stepping out of the city. He's not trying to do anything. You guys already said that you're going to kind of meet at the gates after you get what you need to as you pass by the guild house or collect your personal belongings.
Yeah, after we reached basically just outside the city, make sure the guards basically don't harass the boy for dragging a carcass through the gates.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody stops him, Aaron will head off to first his home and then to the office of Captain Skellering to request a few days off for an extended march.
Sure. You head home, you collect your provisions, anything that you might need. Do you say anything to your sister?
Yes. I mean, so she's about 3 years younger than me. So,
okay. So she's looking at like maybe 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah, old enough to take care of herself, but obviously I would let her know, like, I'm going to be on extended training for a few days.
What is her name?
Leona.
Leona. Okay. All right. Perfect. So you tell Leona that you are going to be on short leave. She understands. She wishes you well and tells you not to get hurt. Don't be foolish, big brother.
Of course. You know where the stash is hidden, and you can go to Skellering or the church for help if you need.
You feel it's important to not necessarily alert the rest of the Skellering family because you're staying amidst their family. It's not in the same building, but it's essentially a small room that has been built onto their house. It even has its own door so that you can come and go as you please. But it's on the same house. You know that the captain is out. He's out right now. He's on rotations, rounds, doing what he has to do. His wife and children are inside. They're minding their business. You don't really ever come into much contact with them. I mean, it's not like there's bad blood, as much as he's very clearly a man of action and duty, and his involvement with his family, unfortunately, is not with frequency. It's very infrequent. You've done the count. You've ran the ledgers. There are, as it stands right this moment, 750 guards in the city. They all answer his call. And most of them have founded you respect because of the efforts that you have gone through and how much you've grown up in that time. Now, still, there is some sour nature amidst those guards because you were elected as a bit of a pet project against the captain's will. But you know the hours. You know the sweat. You know the physical training that you have had to put upon in order to survive. You've earned your place. You don't have to explain it to anyone. You head to the guard quarters. You expect to find the captain there. And lo and behold, he isn't. It's not much of a surprise. He has the first feet on the street every morning. He is the first to meet the front lines. He is very quick to meet the call of the people. He's trusted your judgment. You have earned his respect. Do you leave him a note?
Yes, I will leave him a note saying I will be going on a training march towards Sasserine for let's say 3 days there and 3 days back.
So about a week's time.
So about a week's time.
Got it. Perfect. So, Sora, is there anything that you do?
Do I notice Carter looking around to try and figure out where a healer's kit could be purchased?
Carter, with confidence, walks in a direction he is uncertain of.
So
But
Sora will
you know your way
catch
around.
up. Will catch up as quickly as she can muster. And she'll mention, you're going the wrong way. You should, they're cheaper over here. And she will gently point, but she's not, this is a strange man to her. He's not really, he looks kind of odd.
He looks like he should be blind, but like looks in the direction that you're pointing.
Yeah. So she's not sure if he sees, then she really, to your right, as if he can't see.
Sure. You guide him to a general store. You
So
find what
Sora
you need.
herself will additionally buy one.
Heard. You know the expenses. If you don't, make sure to check the book for it. Put it onto your character sheet, and you're good to go. How about from Rowan? Anything before you exit the city?
I'd probably, because Aiden mentioned wanting to look at the corpse.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd probably turn to him and say, are you going to study this here on the trip? What's your intentions?
Well, first things first, I'm just going to do a quick cursory exam since he helpfully, pulled the canvas back. After that, I figured that any further interrogation can happen as we are walking.
Okay.
So you need this to be brought with us.
Not necessarily. Let's see what we find first. And then Aiden will actually walk up to the cart, put his hand kind of over it, move it from bottom to top, and mutter audibly, Arcanum vis lumiere.
Sure. And what exactly are you attempting to do here?
I am just casting Detect Magic to see if
Yeah.
there's any residuals, if it's, any residuals of a curse, or if it is, it could be, gives me a direction to go. Is this a sickness? Is this a curse? Is this a, bad luck?
So Detect Magic itself is not something that you sort of implement upon a target as much as you implement it upon your vision. And as you loom through that field of vision, we see your eyes sort of pale at first before it emits that silvery sheen, and you're peering into the arcane spectrum. This is just a cow. It's just a cow. There is no magic that looms, that echoes, that lingers here over the top of him, but when you peer on, you catch over your allies something a bit more. Something silhouettes the significant figure of the leathered worker. You can't quite explain it. It seems bigger than his person. It seems shifting, not quite nebulous, but that it can't quite define its shape as it weaves into forms that acquire a more animalistic nature. The fingers twist into claws, the shoulder blades emit something like wings. You see fangs disappear beneath his skin. And then when you look onto the boy, there's something dark. Some sort of malfluence that hangs on him like a sickness. It clings to his body like plague, like it's eating his soul. This feels more like a curse than not.
All right, we definitely need to look into this. We may eventually need to seek higher. The cow is just a cow. Whatever did this to him, whether that is magical in nature, we will find out. However, I believe you said I heard your name as Rowan. Rowan's the one next to me.
Did anybody say my name?
I don't think so. I think I did.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You, sir. I'm Aiden, by the way.
He'll just
You have
Rowan
an
reach out a hand.
As he shakes the hand, you're being watched over by something interesting. I love it.
I love it too.
There is... You know what? I'm sorry, young man. What did you say your name was again? Oh, Dieter, right?
Dieter, yes. I'm from Cauldron Lake Farms. We produce coffee.
I'm going to have to ask you to remember back over the last couple of months. It seems you have been exposed to something rather dark.
And he kind of looks to himself like he's trying to look for something dark on him.
We can wait for the others. I'm sure they have piercing questions as well, and I'd hate for us to have to repeat everything, but you can think back. Was there when you were working the fields? Did anyone come across a dark idol? You've heard fairy tales. Was someone mean to a random visitor? Anything out of the ordinary that you can think of.
Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, nothing like that. No.
How long has your family worked and lived on this farmland?
I was born here, sir. And my father was born here.
Very well, this could be quite interesting. I can't wait to hear what the others have to say about this. In the meantime, Rowan, if you would wait here with this young man, I'm gonna go grab my things. I shan't be long.
And what about the cow? Are you done?
The cow is just spoiled meat. I am done.
Okay.
Other than it being inverted, I don't have instruments and tools to look into that at present.
After the boy is ready, we'll meet at the gate.
Okay. So we're going to pass some time here. I'm going to afford each of you all of the time necessary for you to acquire whatever goods you might need. You'll meet up at the gate, and then you'll be exiting this location. We're going to go on a very brief break. Think like 3 to 5 minutes, so everyone can get up, grab some water, run to the bathroom, do what you got to do, bio break, and when we return, well, we'll get into some weird stuff. Well, if the players so see fit. So, we'll be back in a minute, guys. Don't go anywhere. Or do.
Born weird.
All right, everybody, and welcome back. We are back in it here. I hope you are ready to be on the road. Was there anything now, looking at the story before us, is there anything that you wanted to accomplish before you left town? I know that brief break afforded you a moment to sort of think about it. We've already asked. We've got a handful of things, but you're about to be on your journey. What do you need to accomplish? Anything important?
I would just ask the group before we leave if anybody else wants to look at this cow.
Just double check I have enough rations. I have Aaron would keep a trekking pack for extended journeys just in the home, so he doesn't need to go out and get much.
Got it.
So Flora will ensure that Carter finds what he's looking for.
Got it. Cool.
I'll probably pick up a couple more rations just because Dieter seems to like them. So I'll just keep trying to offer him rations. Also, I will take Rowan's offer to look at the cow.
Got it. Cool. So we got at least one other person glancing down at the cow.
So Sora will take that opportunity as well.
Cool.
And just because Aiden's a nosy bastard, he's also, while everyone's distracted with the carcass, gonna check the arcane spectrum on the rest of these people here, because just seeing, the boy and Carter having some sort of magic to them, knowing what he knows about himself, he's wondering if, there's going to be further signs to tie this into the prophecy that he followed to Cauldron.
Sure. You peering over the spectrum, right, of the individuals around you, you can immediately discern and tell that each of them are different in a variety of ways than just the common passerby. They each have some sort of gift or have been touched upon by something that is greater than themselves. Maybe they have something magical. But what's really interesting in regards to everyone here, yes, even your fighter, even Aaron, has something a little extra going on behind the scenes. But the one that surprises you the most is Carter. Carter exudes this brilliance, this profound brilliance that's absolutely been touched by the divine. And then when you see Carter's holy symbol, it's a void. It swallows the light. It almost seems like it is absorbing his brilliance. This touch of divinity.
On the regular spectrum, what symbol? Yeah, I know he mentioned Palor, but what is depicted on the symbol? I mean, around his neck, Aiden's got, underneath his robe, he's got a symbol of Celestian. But what about Mr. Carter?
Carter, what is your holy symbol?
It is basically like the standard pointed sun symbol of Palor, but it's carved out of silver hanging from his neck.
That is interesting, Mr. Carter. Where did you happen upon that stinging metal medallion of yours?
Oh, I woke up with this, apparently.
You did? How long ago was this?
It's been a couple weeks since I woke up.
And before that time, how long had you been awake before that?
Oh, I have no idea.
He says it with a smile.
And Aiden just kind of, the stutter is actually inherent in the character, and he's like, and you're happy with the fact that you have nothing prior to you waking up a couple weeks ago?
Oh, I feel quite content. I get up every morning and I greet the sunrise just as I always have, as far as I can tell. They've even given me a name since they found me.
They as in people in general, or specific they?
There was this nice group traveling by on the road that for a while were calling me Crater, but Crater's apparently not a name, so they changed it to Carter.
Crater.
Crater.
Any particular reason why they were calling you that?
They found me in a crater.
Were you beside it, or were you inside of it?
I was in it. Apparently, I must have fallen. It hit my head, and that's probably why I can't remember anything.
You are a mystery. I like you.
I like me too, and I'm sure I'll like you as well. You're Aiden, right?
Yes, that was the name that was given to me, all those many decades ago. Well,
decades.
Not many, just a couple.
Wow.
Well,
That's a lot.
this is where Aaron will kind of interject. Well, hopefully your memories come back soon. I know, roughing around, some of the men kind of forget who they are for a day or two. Not quite seen a few weeks before, but surely you'll remember in time.
Now, it's at this point that each of you sort of realize, right? You've been walking with each other, sort of kind of getting to know a little bit about each other. You're pretty close, 5-10 feet. You're watching the way each other move. Aaron's just a kid. Aaron might be 18, 19 years old. There's a good chance that the boy at the helm of the wagon, Dieter, might be either his same age or even older. Speaks leaps and bounds about the decision that the guard captain made, leaving Aaron in charge of the situation. Either you are to trust his decision-making skills and believe that Aaron is capable, or maybe he just doesn't like the kid.
Just that second one. Joking.
I'll interject again. Are we done with the cow?
Carter, you said you wanted to see the cow, right?
Yes. Okay, hold on. I wish to look at the cow. This is a cow, right?
Yes, this is a cow.
Fascinating. I cast Detect Fiendish Presence on it.
Click on your spell, Fiendish Presence, cast Detect Fiendish Presence so that we can see what that spell is. Spell functions like Detect Evil, except that it detects only outsiders with the evil subtype, as well as the lingering effects caused by the gifts, presence, and spells. You can also detect clerics and paladins of fiendish deities. So what you pick up on is that it has been touched by a fiendish presence.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, that can't be good. Dieter,
Yes.
have any of your family or anyone in your area come into contact with something, say, evil?
Evil? No, not that I know of. No. Why?
There is a presence coming off of this cow, as you call it. It's not good. It's definitely evil. Why, I just want to hit it with my Morning Star.
But it's dead. It's dead.
Oh, is it now? Unfortunate.
It's. Dieter looks to each of you for any sign of validity here in his response. It's dead.
It is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Such a shame. It was probably killed by the fiend that left its presence all over it.
Oh,
I
you
wonder
detect,
how.
You detect a lower planes presence amongst the remains.
Yes! Quite revolting.
Do you perhaps know which flavor it was? I mean, there, are a number of planes to choose from.
I can't get specific. I feel like I should know this, but I don't.
And the rest of you, I've already mentioned that I looked at it in the arcane. Do you all also have any special skills you can bring to this? Just before, we deal with the carcass here?
Aaron will kind of, and take a real long look at that cow.
Yeah, you're certain it's dead, but I need to know what you're trying to determine outside of looking at it.
Other than being obviously flipped inside out, is there
Yeah.
any other noticeable?
Well, why don't you give me a heal check? Let's see if you can determine some things with heal.
All right.
Okay.
17.
You glance down at the cattle, this individual cow, and what he says holds some truth to it. There is very, very clearly some signs of something deliberately turning this creature inside out. Now, it's not perfect, okay? It's not perfect because you can't bond the outside of the cow with its bone material. What it really looks like is essentially is that it was flayed from the gut down the length of its thighs, but you don't see blade. You don't see anything that makes it look like it was used with a bladed instrument. The skin was tore. Something punctured this and then just rended it with strength. But as you look down, you can see these tiny little bits of stippling. It almost looks like what you would first guess is fingerprints. But when you glance across it, they are bizarre. They're sort of elongated, very thin fingers, but many of them, many of them, and none of them match. So this thing, whatever did this, either had dozens of arms, or it was multiple creatures.
Aaron will kind of sigh and, well, I don't know much about the fiendish, but willing to believe it with the state of this thing. Either it's one very weird creature with strengths of more than any man I know, or judging by the scarring and the rending, a bunch of smaller creatures. Boy, have you seen any odd tracks on your land or anything else out of the ordinary?
Yes, actually, we have. We know that there are. We know that there are lowland creatures that stay far away from us. They don't like the smell of the fields, so they stay away. But we have noticed more of their tracks recently.
Anything change you know of that could be drawing them there?
No, this is the first time that something like this has ever happened. And then they're not quiet. They're very loud. They're very fast. It's the what did Father call them? Can I get a knowledge nature, please, from anyone that has it as a trained skill? Rowan, you are only aware of a couple of creatures that functionally are not fond of the smell of like coffee farms. Particularly as a field worker yourself, you are not unfamiliar to them, but they're not native to your zone, your area. More so on the north side of where Cauldron would be, which you came in from south side. So different location, different like lowland animal type. The animal that you might be thinking of based on this is probably going to be the lowland baboons.
It's a Dieter, that sounds like some sort of monkey.
Monkeys, that's what I think that's what Father said. That when he pointed them out when I was much younger, that there were monkeys that stay away from the farm, but he had another name for them, but he always called them that as well.
But monkeys wouldn't have a touch of the fiendish to them.
Unless they were fiendish monkeys.
Well, what would fiendish monkeys be doing just living amongst the regular monkeys then?
How would I know?
I mean, a monkey ceases to be fiendish after one generation.
Is that the case?
Well,
Interesting.
just for the ones that are summoned from the plains and brought here, should they continue to procreate, generally the fiendish nature is done away with, unless a nice confluence of circumstances happened late down the line. But, we're still studying that I believe the field is called genetics. I don't know why it's called that, but it's brand new.
Can a fiendish monkey summon another fiendish monkey?
Shall I do a knowledge planes to see if I might know that, Mr. DM, sir?
Sure, give it a shot. You can try. You have never heard of monkeys being able to summon other monkeys from another plane of existence. Planar hopping is not a commonplace. There usually has to be a greater power that asserts its dominance over a location in the realm, and then will provide a branching breach path. But in this case, you never heard of anything like that. Not unless they are not natural creatures of the material plane. There might be some creatures from the abyss. There might be some creatures from a layer of hell. Other material planes, like the ethereal plane even, but nothing that would do, nothing that you would know from the ethereal plane that would deliberately do this. Unless, of course, the cattle were sick. And you didn't detect any malady, no magic, nothing like that. But animals are a touch closer to nature. They can oftentimes tell when something is off.
Aiden will relay a brief summary of that information and then add. So, first bit of speculation here. Perhaps the fiendish touch may be the brains behind the outfit, and they are using these monkeys, if you will, as their shock troops.
Ooh, clever. Fiends are always clever, aren't they?
Well, I would have to
Interesting.
ask my sister about that.
Interesting hypotheses, but shock troops against a cocoa farm. Or a coffee farm, in this case. I think you said it was.
Coffee, yes.
Coffee must be the most important thing, whatever it is.
Some guards would certainly say so.
I do.
However, relatively no, especially with how many are in the area. Generally, they are lower importance, hence the hesitation from the city to provide aid for something so unsure.
Why would you hesitate to provide aid? You provide aid because someone needs it.
I would agree with you, but unfortunately, there are people who take more aid than they need. Take aid when they don't need it. So laws are set up. So there's process, so we can ensure that those who need it get what they need. Even though there are times like this where our hands are a bit more tied than we'd like them to be.
Who ties the hands of aid? Sounds unproductive.
Well, see, when the hands of aid are tied, then people do things like take off from work early.
It's certainly a consequence of it.
And you, the silent one over there in the helmet, do you have any thoughts on this situation?
Seems as though if the aid can't come to the people need to find a new way to get aid.
That's very wise. Anything on the monkeys as well?
I just know what they are, but they're not from where I'm from, so I don't know much about them other than that.
Animals aren't quite my focus of expertise.
Well, we need an animal expert. Maybe we'll find one on a farm.
Well, but speaking of which, what is your area of expertise, other than, helmet fashion?
Be that as it may, the helmet will stay. My area of expertise is disease and healing.
Ah,
Ooh, I
Is it-
love healing.
does it pertain solely to humans, or do you have any veterinary skills as well?
I can't say veterinary is on my list of expertises, but I'm sure I could give it a go. This seems far outside of my realm of possibility. This is very clearly very dead.
Ah, yes, but was it diseased?
I'll give it a go, bub. If we still got this carcass, I'll give it a good old diagnosed disease.
You are certain this creature was not diseased. In fact, based upon its size and what you can determine by its build, it was full grown, in fairly good health. You will note that it is missing some matter. You're not sure if that was deliberate by the family upon loading, but it seems as if some of this cow is missing. The most obvious is the head. It's not sick, but it's missing a significant amount of matter here. You can identify a lot of the organs. You can determine where some of these essentials happen to be, but there are some parts of this creature that are just gone.
She will kind of gesture to parts that she notices are missing, and in particular will notate the side that, if she can determine which side the neck is on while being inside out, that the brain is and the head is no longer attached. This isn't disease, but this whole thing isn't here. There's pieces that are missing and no longer part of this cow.
Well, I would question then. I mean, our friend over here mentioned stippling and fingerprints. What about tooth marks? I mean, I am not in the forensics business. Maybe one of you has more knowledge in this area.
Forensics isn't exactly a thing. The science is very, very modern. So let's ground ourselves in the time. So I'm gonna let some of it pass. Genetics, right? They don't even really have a grand compensation or understanding of STDs yet. So let's just stick to the story.
Apologies, the genetics was my one pun of the day.
Oh boy.
And I was just thinking, because I know, as someone who grew up hunting, but Aiden does not. Tooth marks and other things are more obvious to people who are used to that sort of thing.
No tooth marks, which goes with the monkey story, but also not at the same time. Again, we're working with what this man says is fiendish in origin. I am certainly not an expert in that area.
You've never been a butcher. That's not something that I think is in your wheelhouse. But you can tell that something's missing here. The skin is sort of slagging. It's missing some detail here. The organs are there. It's very clear where they had stripped the muscle and just sort of raggedly hung it over in spots. Give me another heal check, knowing that the grander details that you've been afforded up to this point.
Oh, that's not very.
You have one luck roll. If you'd like to use the luck roll, you can.
No, thank you.
Okay.
We are all scared we're going to need
Remember,
to get a life or death
you
situation.
use it or lose it. It doesn't
Yeah,
it doesn't
you
lapse
don't
into the
use it.
next session.
You will lose it.
Bub, while no one's been talking to Carter's mulling over his excuse for mind. No bite marks, fingerprint or suction cup-like marks, however. Can I think on what I know of fiends to try and see if anything flashes for something to go with this description?
You can try.
What do we call that? Knowledge planes?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Oh, that's an extra 20.
Brother, I hate to do this to you, but there is nothing that makes you think of anything, planar or not, that would seem like a fiend. Now, that being said, it is not unheard of for creatures, or in this case, those that might be guided and or goaded, to use this technique, though it's oftentimes done so to remove the target of something, to deprive them of something.
No. That wouldn't be that. It would be that. No. Maybe. Maybe that tactic. Yes.
You peer
Apparently
down.
it's missing a head.
You peer down at the sagging flesh, and you look, and you can see there is the digestive. You can see the crushed lung. It looks like it was just haphazardly slung up over it like a satchel. You can see the pelvis that was decorated in its muscle, but it's been since flayed. You don't see any fat. The adipose tissue is just gone. It's not a matter of marbleization amidst the muscle. It's literally been stripped from it.
Dieter.
A pack of wild plastic surgeons.
Yeah, yes.
Dieter.
Yes.
Do cows have fat?
Oh, yes, they are. They're rather large.
Where's your cow's fat?
He glances back. Is it not there?
Nope, it appears to be stolen.
I don't know
Oh,
what would do that.
A fiend, probably.
Fiends do that? They steal fat?
Oh, they steal lots of things. It's very fiendish of them.
You think there's a fiend on the farm, though?
Stealing your cow's fat.
What would it want with the cows?
Do they have lots of fat?
I don't know. I think they have some. We weren't trying to sell the meat. We were trying to breed them first and use the manure.
I don't know what that is, but if cows are as fat as I think they are, it might want the fat. There's not much fat on you.
No, I don't think so. I'm kind of. My mom used to call me skin and bones.
Do you need more rations?
No, if I eat too fast, I'll get sick.
Eating fast makes you sick.
Are you
It's like
okay?
drinking too much water.
Yeah, if you drink too fast, it will make you sick.
Well, I knew that, but I've never done that thing that you did when I handed you the ration.
He again slowly looks to everyone else like, is this normal? Is this is this...
I'm gonna put my hands on Dieter's shoulders, and I'm look him in the eyes and say, "You started this. You're gonna have to push the cart all the way home."
Yeah, yes,
Just to like get off this topic.
I know.
You must finish what you start.
I know. And he does. Seeing... I want to know where everybody is, right? Like, so you think this is like a hay wagon cart, right? So it's not large enough that it's going to demand multiple horses or other. This is generally like a single strongman's job, or two midweight men would kind of pull something of this size. And it's got a cow in it, all right? Yes, it is missing some of its some of its parts, but a lot of the parts that are generally like sought after are still here.
But you said it smelled rotting.
Yes, it did. It does.
Yeah.
Aaron is muted.
Well, he was carrying it for 3 days, and I assume it's one of the hotter months. Like, what time of year is it?
It's before your rainy season, so you're
Before
leading
your
up to like looking at just before spring. but like it's never truly winter. You don't really get a lot of snow here.
Gotcha. Yeah. Not too surprising it started to rot on the journey over.
So,
Well, so Sora said she was going to help him push, so I assumed she would go to the front.
do you want to
Correct.
dump the body? Do you want to
I am
dispose of
going
it?
to dump it as we're passing through the gate. I'm going to pull it off the cart and dump it.
Wait, you said it's rotted.
Yeah.
I can fix that.
If you go to do that right before the gate,
No, it'd be after, like right in front of the gate, like when we're outside, not in the city.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will still go to stop you. Though it is not within the gate, this is still technically city property, and it could be seen as illegal dumping.
You also know, working fields yourself, in this case, Rowan, that despite where you are, there is a lot of carrion creatures, things that feast upon the dead. And more often than not, they're not just like vultures. You're looking at like some things that may wander into the city and cause harm to people. So it might be better to kind of maneuver it a bit further down the mountain because you are, after all, on top of a volcano.
Where is the local charnel pit?
Other side of the city.
Yep.
The point was, well, I would turn to Aaron and say, well, now your city can use some of its appropriated funds and pull it off the wagon.
Again, I would suggest you put that back on the wagon, unless poor Dieter here ends up fined for leaving his property outside of the city gates.
Are we getting rid of it because it's rotten?
We're getting rid of it because Dieter has to push it for 3 days.
I will. I will push.
And Dieter, you won't have to pay any fines.
I just don't want to be in trouble.
You won't be. I pulled it off the cart.
Oh, I think that means he pays the fine, Dieter.
He looks to Aaron, like sort of side-eyeing you, but not certain how to move forward.
Dieter, is this your property?
The wagon is.
Is the cow your property?
Well, not anymore. It's dead.
Living or dead, it's still considered property.
Well, what do you use a dead cow for?
Quite a lot of things. This one, not so useful, but when in better condition,
Dieter,
worth quite a lot of money.
Dieter, you said you owed me for helping you push the cart.
Yes.
I'll take a dead cow as payment.
That's not very good payment.
Payment is sent by the worker. I took the job.
All right. I won't argue with you.
The boy only owns the cart.
Understood. Your name was Rowan?
Yep. And then he'll start guiding Dieter with the cart down the pit road.
There's a bit, I'm not going to say more pep in his step as much as it is significantly easier for him to draw the wagon behind him. So Sora, it's very clearly something that you could even do on your own, but he's not one to pass the buck. Literally, he's going to help you the entire way. Even if it causes exhaustion into blackout, he's going to do it the entire way. You're muted.
What would the
Sora
fine
will
be
say-
for dumping something like that just outside the city gates?
Not a lot. It would be an inconvenience.
Probably not a
So you're
lot,
probably
yeah.
looking at like, it would be a taxation fine. So you're looking at like your status in the city wouldn't be stripped, but it would be met with the incursion of your taxation in the city. So like a gold.
Cool. So I'll basically
You're gonna write him up.
I'm gonna write him a ticket.
Listen here, you son of a bitch. I got you. Got you later.
You could have walked down the mountain and
You
dumped it
admitted
there. I
to
would have
it.
been perfectly fine with it.
Gotta
What you
appropriate
doing?
those funds.
Carter stands nearest you, Aaron, as you're, you've managed to pull out a small ink and quill as you're trying to like write something down on a piece of parchment that's just in your hand. You don't have a clipboard. You weren't expecting this. So
No, I
you like
wasn't.
dot the tongue and you dip it into the ink and he's like, "What you doing?"
Writing a ticket. Bad behavior is always rewarded with a equal punishment.
Only wrong deeds get punishment as he's staring down at your ticket with blind eyes.
Kind of look at him for a second. Raise an eyebrow. You can see pretty good for a blind man.
Oh, I'm not completely blind.
Explains a lot. And he'll go back to kind of writing the ticket without trying to puncture through the parchment because he's writing it on his hand. And once he's done, he'll kind of like hand it to Rowan. Please
Rowan.
pay this before the end of the next tax.
Rowan will take it and put it in the cart.
Mr. Bub, how large is Dieter?
Dieter is probably, I think, like the average physical build, or at least what America discerns as the average man. Maybe 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" on his best days. Likely about 130 to 155 pounds, again, on his best days. He's pretty scrawny. You can see what little muscle he has, but it's sort of taut. It's corded because he has worked many days in the fields, and it's clear that on a coffee farm, he's not exactly like farming bagels, right? He's not exactly getting to pull from the immediate product and just dine upon it. It's something that is very clearly handled, bagged, and then shipped immediately. And coffee is a pretty expensive luxury at this point. Maybe he's wiry for a variety of reasons. Maybe he's just not much of an eater, or there might be another reason. Do you kind of take that into note that he's a little thinner for someone that's a farm worker? I mean, even Rowan looks a bit more of a broader build.
So Sora does take that into her consideration. So Sora would like to know if she could pick him up.
Yeah, yes.
Because
could.
if Dieter looks like he's as exhausted as Sora thinks he looks, she's going to stop pushing the cart, pick him up, and put him in the cart. That's her goal.
He would probably be very surprised and then disgusted because the cart itself still has the offal of rotting cow corpse inside of it. So if you're like, you look tired, here's this pin of disgust. Lay in that for a
maybe
while.
maybe not in the cart, but like away from the cart.
Yeah, sure. I get you. He does. He looks rather scrawny, all things considered.
Not like the mountain of muscle that is Aaron Yeager.
Salute.
Take a rest, boy.
Would Dieter take the rest, or would he still push?
Well, I mean, you definitely told him that he has to push, that he's got to see this to finish.
That's why I'm asking.
So he looks to you almost like it's like patronly, right? Like it's a paternal response. Even though you're not that much older than him, you might have him by like 6 or 7 years, but the sun has weathered your look. You look older. You look like you're probably 30 or early 30s because of the way that the sun just slowly ages skin. So if you think that if you're going to sort of go against Sosora's decision and directive, then so be it. He does look to you immediately.
And I'll just ask him, how could I phrase it? I would probably ask him like, is this as far as your commitment goes to helping your family.
He looks to you after a moment of sort of like looking down. I would walk the rest of the way. I didn't sleep last night, and I just think I need a small break. And if you would afford me a small break, I will walk the rest of the way.
Then I
You
would
didn't
take
sleep.
up.
You should sleep.
I'll take up his position at the cart and push.
Sure.
I won't answer him, but I'll do that.
Sure. He will sort of lag to the side and then fall just behind the cart so that you guys have sort of point and lead. And he will just maintain like a walking pace while not having the weight. You guys will walk throughout the duration of the day. It's not, you didn't exactly meet in early day. It was probably like after lunch already. So you're not going to get very far before you're met at night. And time in this time, you're not really roads aren't inherently safe. The fact that the boy got this far without being accosted or attacked was probably because he was carrying a cart filled with a dead cow. So when nightfall comes, each of you know the importance of finding a safeguarded position, creating a fire, and resting. What does this look like as you go into your first night?
Probably be somewhere not far off the road, for one.
Okay. Do you have access to flint and tinder? Do you have the means to start a fire?
I have flint and steel.
Okay.
I have a tent. I have a bedroll. All that stuff.
Got it. Okay.
Carter probably begins wandering away from the group towards like the nearest bit of like what could be considered like wooded vegetation type area to go find some like, fallen branches and stuff like that.
Okay. So you want to collect sort of like down timber.
Yeah.
Got it. You managed to huddle off to find down timber. When you finally reach your point of rest, it was probably a good half an hour that he's taken a break before he moves up again, Rowan, and he takes that spot where you were, and he says thank you, and he's very sincere about it. He quickly utilizes that spot. He'll walk the remaining hours until nightfall, and then as you get into camp, he asks what he can do. There isn't a lot in the way of lighting. If anybody here has low light and or dark vision, you can see that as everybody else is sort of relaxed, he is in a state of fatigue. He's wearing it. Okay. It's painting his body. You've stopped now for 10 to 15 minutes and he's still in a state of like almost heavy breathing. It's just labored and a bit longer as opposed to it's longer and drawn out.
I'll call him over to me and have him help me like put up the tent.
Okay, cool. He'll try to find some sort of like down stone, something that he can use as a makeshift hammer and tap in any of the low pegs around the length of the tent. And you'll note as he's doing this that he's swinging and you can hear the power behind it, but each time as he's swinging it starts to delay and it gets a little slower and it's more and more off center. But as he finishes, he says, how many more?
That's enough. I'll finish. And then when it's done, you rest.
Okay.
And then I'll let him sleep in the tent.
He sits down just on the outside of the tent and just kind of relaxes, laying down. All he's really had to eat today is the trail ration. Who starts the fire?
I'll start the fire.
We didn't start the fire.
It was always Aaron.
That's right.
It was so
Aaron Yeager.
Okay. Aaron, you break out the flint and steel. You crush it a few times against itself, creating this grating motion that sends sparks to the down timber collected by Carter, and you afford yourselves fire. Camp has been made. As each of you sort of look to each other, understanding your positions, knowing exactly how you have to go about your next days, what you have to do, how you must protect yourselves. That sound is sort of broken, not by some surprise attack, Not by a monster careening in from the sides, but by audible snoring. You glance back, and Dieter has fallen asleep right where he placed his ass in the dirt, just on the outside of the tent. One leg is up, positioned in a means of preparedness. The other is caterwauled just in slag to the left. You hear the audible sounds of his long-drawn breath as he takes a sleep from your belief in the first couple of nights.
He's just on the ground, like nothing beneath him.
I'll put him in my tent, like I said before.
You drag him into the tent, and you realize just how frail and thin he actually is. Despite only being 6 or 7 years his senior, he physically looks younger than his age. He's underfed. He's frail. I don't know if you say anything to the rest of them, but you exit the tent, you shut the flap, and the rest of them have sort of gathered by the fire.
I don't think I'd say anything to him.
Do we have any nightly routines? This is a fun question for first-time adventurers. Anything that you guys do at nightfall?
Aiden will have supplemented the light coming off of the campfire with a circle of glowing and dancing lights around him, illuminating our area better. He has he has a pretty good hard covered bound book in front of him that he is sitting and writing some notes here and there.
Okay.
Thinking about what he saw, how his day went, his thoughts about what the animal carcass was. In the meantime, he has also set a pot on next to the fire on one of the stones, filled it with water, and is just letting the water heat up.
Before we move to the next person, I wanted to get one roll here, specifically from Farm. If you would do me a perception check before you exit your tent.
Sure. Perception. Oh my god. I will use my one reroll.
Got it.
There we go.
7 to 20 is invariably different, yes. You notice kind of like you have your hands up under the boy's arms, right? As you're sort of dragging him backwards. His head is laggardly moving with the way that your thighs are sort of stumbling as you drag him into your tent. His shirt comes up, and you can see a kind of an interesting mark. It almost looks like a tattoo, but it's strange because it looks like a birthmark, somewhere between a birthmark and a tattoo. It's like a henna-colored birthmark on his body. It's just to, if you were looking at him head-on, it would be to the right of the navel.
What does it look like?
It looks like an arrow. So think like a stick with two other sticks on top of it pointing up. But right in the middle, it's very clearly been rounded, like there is a circle that's been hollowed out. And in its center mast is a diamond.
Since in that case, when I go out to everybody, I would tell them about that. Like, hey, he has this weird thing near his stomach that looks, and I'll explain what it looks like to them.
I can
Looks like
show
a
you guys
birthmark.
if you want to see it.
Please.
Yes.
It's coming from the book. I do not have a handout on this one, but you can draw it, make your notes. Right there.
It's Congo all over again. Amy doesn't like.
Dieter, pretty monkey.
Monkey attack cow.
Yeah.
Monkey attack cow.
Symbols seem like something familiar to Sosora. Like if it's some sort of basis that she could pull from to see if it's related.
That is determinant entirely upon how well Rowan explains it. Because he's the only one that's seen it. Unless everyone wants to go get a sneak peek of the kid, but everyone's slow sneaking into the tent.
If Solsora thinks Rowan did a bad job explaining it, Solsora has dark vision, so she will go look.
Got it.
Or at least try to.
I will hold up a book to Solsara and show her the picture in the book.
Sneaky. All right.
Wait, I know what? I got a better one. I'm gonna go to the cart and take the ticket, and I'm gonna take a branch with ash from the fire, and I'm gonna draw it on the ticket and show it to her.
Perfect use of the ticket. Perfect use.
So I'll draw it on the ticket in ash to show her what it looks like.
You can try if you'd like to try to determine what that is. What would you like to roll to try to determine if you have any recollection of what that might be?
Well, Solsora would like to first try something religious.
Okay.
Yeah. So
If it's something she recognizes from either her own religion or religion she's read about.
Okay, did anybody else want to try to drum the depths of their mind?
Yes.
all
definitely.
Aaron will say is, you do know you still have to pay the ticket despite what condition the ticket is in.
I throw a
I'll just-
gold coin at Aaron.
I'll just shrug.
I'll catch the gold coin, I guess. I take it this is payment for this man's ticket.
Just so you stop talking about it. I think that's how much you wrote.
And Rowan, do you accept this man paying for you?
Yes, I accept it.
Very well, your ticket is paid.
There. Now, what's so strange about him having a symbol on him? I've got marks on me.
I'd like to roll a perception to see the court where I'm paying the fine. Seems like highway robbery to me.
I'll get to you in a minute.
Extortion.
You will make a mental note of the fact that he put that coin in his bank directly into his personal coffers and change purse. So you can, do with that what you will. But let's see where you'd like to roll upon the definition of what this birthmark might mean. So we have a knowledge religion coming from Solsora.
Indeed.
What about the others? Anybody?
Think.
Carter's asking, is that strange?
I mean, I've never seen a birthmark that looks like that.
I will. I'll try knowledge arcana after that, and possibly also knowledge planes.
Okay. Give me one or the other. It's not like a separate repository in your mind that you can just shut one off and go to the other. It's interloping knowledge, so you get one or the other.
You don't have a mind palace.
Arcane, I got a 20.
Okay.
I have a 15 from religion.
Okay.
I was told it was strange. I'll try and do my planes knowledge again. Maybe it's fiendish in nature. Maybe the boy's a fiend. I just didn't notice.
Makes sense.
House of Fiends.
Nobody
For that ration.
Nobody knows. Nothing doesn't leap out into anyone's mind what that means. You will admit that it is a strange birthmark. It does not look of natural design, but nothing strikes you as magical about it. Nothing strikes you as inherently religious or even planar.
I think it means he's a boy.
Now, as much as you guys are focused on that, I wonder just how many of you want to glance beyond the fact that Carter said, "Is it strange? I've got markings on my body too."
No, because
Sora's coming back to that as soon as we got through this one.
Rowan would probably just let it slide because Rowan has markings on his body too.
Yes, you do.
Aaron's just going to put that in his mental notes for later.
He's putting that in the mind palace.
Yeah. People are weird. He's met enough weird people.
Heard.
So are your markings the same as this marking here, Carter?
I believe mine would count as scarring, but yeah. They said that it was weird that I had scarring the way that I did.
You talking about the people that found you in the crater, right?
Yes. I think they were a caravan.
So Sora already finds Carter strange because he's got her holy symbol on, hanging in front of him. So she'll like ask to come close and be like, "Can I see this scarring?"
Sure, why not? And I just immediately like take off like my leather chest plate and start removing like robes or it was undecided. Where exactly is my scarring, bub?
He doesn't move, that is violation of TOS.
Your scarring, was it based on what we had discussed before?
Yes.
It's running down the length of your legs from basically your knee to ankle.
Okay, then he takes off the leather like shin guards that he's got and like rolls up his pants. See, right there. I got matching ones, one for each leg.
You glance down upon the scarring across his legs, and it's not like the boys, Mark. This looks like his leg was viciously cut. Like, sort of horrifically cut. Something was removed, like he had some sort of growth or mass that was just flinched from his leg, and it runs the length of just below the knee on the left-hand side of the calf down to his ankle bone.
Must have caught it on something.
It's far more serious than getting caught on something.
I feel fine though. Well, as fine as I've known to feel.
Since he's showing everybody, can I like roll something to see if it looks like my scars?
Why don't you describe to me what your scars look like?
My scars would look like scars from various weapons, like being stabbed or shot with an arrow, things like that.
No, this is... when you look at his wounds, or his scarring, you know it's nothing like yours. Skin is supposed to heal somewhat naturally, unless you deprive it of what was there. This sort of looks like someone stripped bark off of a tree, and the tree tried to regrow bark where it could not.
Can I roll like a... I don't know if religious really works here, but like a heal check to kind of like see the extent of this like scarring on his legs?
How would you like to do that? Are you just going to like, and think of it? Do you think you would like kind of try to turn his leg to try to get better like angling or lighting on this? Or what does that look like?
She'll probably ask Carter first. She'll be like, Carter, do you mind if I angle your leg to see it a little better? It looks quite ghastly, if I'm honest.
Oh, I don't mind one bit.
So then she will attempt to turn, like if the scarring's not straight, she will attempt to turn it enough so she can see the majority of the scarring.
Of course. I have a question for you then, Christy. Mm-hmm. Where do you keep your holy symbol?
It's probably underneath my chest plate, like my chest piece.
Do you think it's like on your skin?
There's probably a layer of clothes, then my holy symbol, then the chest piece, if that makes sense. Like something thin, the holy symbol on top of it, and then the chest piece over that.
Got it. Now bear in mind, everyone, as Sulsora has been sitting with you up to this point, she is wearing very intricate headgear. This isn't like a soldier's casque helm, okay? She's wearing a helmet that looks sort of like a pointed falcon, like over the top of the eye, down the length of the nose. And then there is cloth that disguises the most part of her face, And then there is a chainmail coif that dances along a leather ribbon, disguising even more of her face. Where everybody else is in the midst of removing armor, she almost refuses to. But Solsora, as you glance down at his leg and you sort of angle it to see, maybe even touch where the wound was, the skin is soft and it's fresh. It's thin here. Where wounds try to heal and the scarring sort of takes over and begins to fold and layer upon itself, and it becomes very taut and very thick, as in to guard itself. It's soft. It almost feels like a burn. However, the skin is not puckered. And then you feel, as your fingers sort of touch it, just to see that tensile softness, to see how far it might go down, you feel the heat on your chest. And it's not the sort of heat that you might expect out of reminiscing about an excursion with a loved one, a feeling of butterflies or anything like that. This is heat like the heat of embers. And it's on your chest. And the longer you touch his body, the hotter it becomes.
So Sora will initially disregard it. It will not... As soon as it gets to the point of being slightly above uncomfortable, then she'll realize that it's connected.
Carter.
By attempting to take her hand away.
Where you can see that she's kind of looking at her leg, or at your leg. You glance up to her, your eyes sort of go back and forth to her face, and you witness behind her armors a small amount of smoke rise up around the opening of her armor at the nape of the neck, at the point of like where her chest basically meets the neck itself. You can see smoke sort of cascading from the plumage of the neck itself.
He at first almost like tilts his head to the side like quizzical animal, and then when he realized it's smoke, like his hands just instantly shoot forward trying to like pat it down. He's like, no.
What? What?
He
You're
immediately
burning.
starts patting your chest.
You're burning.
E-Hondaing them titties.
She'll find it very strange, first of all, but second of all, first of all, why is she burning? That is a strange thing to her. So she'll pull her hand away from Carter just to see if it's related at all.
You see his hands, like you kind of push them back as he's tapping on your chest, and every time his hand touches your armor, the upper chest, you get another waft of this smoke. It is the linen of your tunic. Your undergarment is beginning to burn. But as quickly as you pushed him away and you've stopped touching his leg, the heat also dissipates.
That's no ordinary scar there. So Sora probably looks dumbfounded, to be honest, that such an interaction is happening, because she's probably never even seen something like this before, let alone expected physically touching somebody to cause such a visceral physical reaction.
Sure.
That she can't explain.
Are you all right? You were catching on fire. That's supposed to only happen when you cast the spells.
I think I'm all right. I feel all right now, but I've never experienced that before.
Aiden looks up from where he wasn't paying attention. Wait, you catch on fire when you cast spells?
Oh, I catch other things on fire when I cast spells.
Oh, okay. Wait, why do I smell? That's not wood smoke. I smell burning.
That was me. I'm not burning anymore. It's okay. I don't think I'm burning anymore.
Still just behind Carter. Excuse me, not Carter. Behind Aaron inside of Rowan's tent.
That's so accurate, despite being a fake snore. That's great.
Carter, don't cast any spells while Dieter's sleeping in my tent. Thank you.
I wasn't going to cast any spells. The only time I ever had to cast a spell was when this very unkind man was like, give me your gold. And I was like, no, it's my gold. And he pulled a knife, and I snapped my fingers, and the knife got too hot for him to hold.
Good thing Aaron didn't try to extort a gold piece from you then.
Self-defense is
Do
very
you
much
think there
within the law.
Bub, do you think there is some things Sora can pull from her knowledge of religion on this reoccurring theme now? This is now twice in the span of a short period of time that he's mentioned setting something someone else has on fire.
Well, it's not uncommon for the religious sword to have some sort of compulsion or control over fire. There are a lot of gods that provide the ability for them to command fire to a degree. A lot of arcane magics manipulate and contort fire at its control. You don't think that he cast a spell there. There was no wind-up. There was no verbal or somatic components. You do think it's strange, but you don't really know what
it's
got
strange.
hot.
Or why.
Or why. Correct. Now you will note it's something that's been sort of pecking at the back of your mind. He's been walking around with your god on his neck. Paylor. It's not unnatural. A lot of people follow Paylor.
He
Admittedly,
doesn't seem to know why he has it. He seems to just have it, found it on himself, and doesn't have a reason why.
correct. Admittedly, the devout to Paylor inside of Cauldron is a little limited. There are quite a few more people that follow St. Cuthbert. Even Weejas. Paylor has arguably the smallest following in the city. But the devout is there. But one thing that you know, despite all things, despite everything that you're aware of, is that no follower of Paylor uses silver for his symbol. It's not even a statement in regards to cost or value, because Paylor transcends that. There is no vanity in the design of their symbol. Even the cheapest materials that are just whittled from stone, that have been chipped away, they still paint them yellow. Yellow has been a cornerstone color to mark the sun and Paylor's warmth. Silver is oftentimes deigned and designed to mark a calmness, a cool, and a collection. It's almost like the night. Why is his symbol not yellow? That's more concerning than the fire behind your breast, than the fire that seemed to literally light upon your tunic.
Carter, do you mind if I see that symbol there around your neck?
Carter, yes, you do mind. You don't know why you
I
mind,
need this.
but it matters a great deal to you.
No. This is mine.
Would you mind if I look closer at it and not touch it?
You promise not to try and take it.
I will not take it. I simply wish to see the symbol. And if this helps, she will try and reach like underneath her chest piece and pull the matching one out, but hers is probably a simple wooden or stone one. It is not silver by any means, but it is yellow.
Yours is metal. It's one of the few things that you managed to buy for yourself. You found
But it's
some...
still yellow. It is not
Correct.
silver like his currently
Correct.
is.
They generally
but
use like a copper or a brass because like if it goes to like straight yellow, it is either wooden or stone. But in your case, like they do adhere to the warmth that metal can generate. So they like going to copper or brass. Not many smiths can work most materials, but in this case, you have a lot of copper medallions that are wandering the city. That being said, when you sort of flinch yours out, you can see as you kind of rend it from the inside of your neck and pull it up, it's stuck on something, and you like pull your armor down and flip this up, and it pulls part of your tunic out. It has seared through your tunic. The metal medallion of the face of Paylor is what got hot and seared through your tunic.
that's strange.
Ah, you also have one too.
It's just strange to see yours in silver. Silver's not a very common choice, particularly for that symbol you're wearing. I promise I won't take it. I won't even touch it if you don't want me to touch it. I just wish to look at it closer.
He'll never remove, like, it from his neck, but he'll kind of hold it up with both his hands cupped around it, like the fingers on the points towards you.
I don't know if knowledge religion is the most beneficial thing here, if this is more of like a wisdom thing, or if this is even something else entirely.
Religion would probably work.
Let's give it a go, shall we? I would like to elect to take my one reward.
Go for it. 24 is quite a bit better.
Significantly better.
What is your question?
Because sort of at least knows that silver's not a common use case here for this particular
Sure.
symbol.
Yes.
But does it otherwise look like a holy symbol of Palor's, or something that's like Palor adjacent, but there's something that's just not right, that she doesn't recognize or looks strange in comparison?
It has the defined Palor shape. It is the face of Palor, which is inherently it's the sun, right? That's what the symbol is. It's the sun. And something about it has shown us with time that Palor has designed and deigned to apply his face directly to the middle of the holy symbol. So you expect to see just that, and it's something that's really close. It's really close, but something about it seems weird. The eyes seem a little off. The left eye seems to be higher than the right eye. And the sun that sort of licks outward, the lines are a bit more defined as they come into the center and sort of start to apply a warping effect between the eyes. There's no doubt it's the shape of Palor. But
The
something
details
about
aren't
it
Palor.
is not right.
Just curious. It's not. It looks like this one, but not quite.
It is Palor.
It's just strange, is all.
It's Palor.
If nothing comes to Susora as another symbol that would be this close to Palor, she will accept that this is Palor or Palor related.
You aren't certain, right?
Yeah, if
you are
she's not certain, she won't say anything else.
It's looking a lot like it's like 92% Palor, but something about it feels in its center because you broke 20. I set the DC at 20 for this. On the inside, the face feels wrong. It feels off. You can see the nose. You can see the glint of the grin, but something about that even feels off. It's something about the eyes. It's the eyes. It's very strange. It reminds you of another god that you've heard about. You're not sure how important they are in the city, but there's another symbol. It's Olidamara. Olidamara's symbol looks bizarrely like that. Just the eyes, though. And the eyes are vaguely familiar to it. But when you glance again, it looks like Palor's face.
Would another knowledge religion check, or maybe this is more in the memory category, afford me, if there is any, more knowledge of this god rather than just the shape of the symbol? Even if it's just basic facts.
Sure, I can give you some basic information on Olidamara. Of course, just go ahead and give me a knowledge religion.
Excellent.
9's not great.
That's not great.
9's not great. But Olidamara is not an unheard of god. Alidamara is oftentimes referred to as the Laughing Rogue. It is a chaotic neutral deity of music, of revelry, of wine, but most importantly, trickery. Alidamara is worshipped by rogues, artists, free spirits, and those taught to avoid routine, embrace joy, celebration. His symbol is a grinning mask. You can Google it if you'd like, just to see what the eyes might be akin to of what you just saw.
Sora won't say anything else. She will kind of keep this as a back burner, since Carter seems to be maneuvering this plane with a sort of toddler-like or childlike curiosity. So maybe to him this is Paylor, but she's going to keep that image of Alidamara in her head of how it looks kind of like it, but kind of trickery like Paylor. And that maybe it's actually some sort of sign.
What's happening right in this moment is a lot of, like, inside of Sosora's head, right?
Correct.
It doesn't cut the clock. Things are happening outside of this. So we can see what's happening with Aiden is still, like, kind of mental noting everything that's going down, but he's also filing it away into his brain about what's happening. We can see Carter being a little on edge, a little more protective of not only his body, but specifically of this symbol. We see Rowan just focusing on what's important. And the gods are important, you guess, but you have a directive. You have things that you're supposed to be doing. So their talks, the ambivalence, the everything in between, it's just noise. It's kind of extra. And then there's Aaron. Aaron, you sit amidst individuals, some a little older, some a lot older. And they're weird. They're really weird. They don't abide by the law. Well, with maybe an exception to Aiden. His law is a little more loosey-goosey, and he's found a way to sort of work beyond that. They work with magic, or they just work hard. But they are not necessarily the antithesis, but they operate outside of what you know. What you know is structure. What you know is sweat. What you know is the right way and the wrong way. And you can't quite shake what happened at the gates earlier as more than the wrong way, but you also know that the guard captain won't mind because a fine has been paid. What is Aaron doing in this moment? You're muted.
I'm going to have to get used to that.
Mm-hmm.
He is tending the fire. Standing watch as he was kind of trained to do in these situations. You need to be alert in the wilderness. There's no time for whatever they're doing over there, though he can't help but glance every once in a while at the noise and the smoke. But he's kind of listening. What he's really looking at is every once in a while he'll glance over to Rowan.
Rowan, where you sit, you just sort of feel everything that's happening, and your attention is in a lot of places, but it never quite leaves, again, like I'd said, your directive. And you're still not quite sure what it means, right? You were told you'll know it when you see it. And you're not sure if it means working with these people, or if it means helping the boy. And as you glance across the fire, you see the pointed stare of one Aaron, which, again, is yet another boy. And maybe he's part of that charge. Maybe it's helping him. Or maybe he's just going to be in your way, and he's another person that you leave down in the ditch. Whatever the case may be, You try not to think too much of it when your attention is drawn to behind you, and you overhear the sounds of whimpers. The whimpering of Dieter. The snores have fallen. You now hear gasping as the whimpers sort of slowly eke from your tent. Something has shaken him. Do you glance inside of the tent?
If it sounds like he's struggling, yeah, like struggling with something, I'll just look inside to make sure he's like okay health-wise, like nothing's going down.
As you begin to move your way closer to the tent itself, you can overhear this whisper of him in between the mutterings and the whimper, and he talks about doing what's important and that he's sorry, Mother, and that he misses you, and he's trying to take care of his brothers and sister, and he's trying to do what's right, and he misses you, Mom. I miss you, Mother. Dad's not well. I miss you, Mother. He keeps muttering that, and there's whimpers in between, and he's crying. And you can tell that he's either dreaming or he's living out something that's happened once before. Do you still look inside of the tent?
Yeah, I'll still look inside the tent just to make, even though I like hear that and I think he might be having a nightmare or a dream or whatever, I still just check to make sure he's okay, like physically, nothing's going on with him.
As you look inside of the tent, you can see that his left arm has been pulled up over the top of his eyes, and he's still gasping, trying to breathe, but his crying is still occurring, and you can tell just the way that the hand lazily lays draped across his temple that he's still asleep. There is no tautness in that arm itself, that he's in the midst of some sort of dream-like state. But what surprises you so much is not the fact that his symbol, this birthmark or tattoo, is just showing this much on his tummy, but that his right hand is now ensconced in what looks to be some sort of battle gauntlet that wasn't there when you drug him in this room. That when you drug him into your tent, it was just the hand of a boy, but it's now draped and ensconced in a battle gauntlet, and you can see visibly before your eyes that there is about 6 arrows that manifest in his clutched hand as if he's crushing them, 3 black and 3 red. You see blood beginning to pool down the length of each arrow as his hand stands upright, and as it pools, it drips down to the ground, the soil below, or off to the side of where your bedroll might be.
And this looks like it's like he's wearing something, or it looks like ethereal, like...
This looks like it's there. Like it's physically there.
I would probably go in the tent and then probably grab his arm and see, the one that has the gauntlet.
When you kind of walk into the tent to grab onto the arm, you can feel as your hand reaches down the cold metal of the gauntlet itself, and as your skin touches his, he awakes and panics, flailing, throwing his arms up in the air to stop whatever's around him, and the arrows, the gauntlet, and the blood disappears.
Dieter.
Like he's alert, he's concerned, his hands are still up, almost in to stop you from like hitting him. It's almost a survival response.
Yeah. I'd calm down. You were dreaming.
He slowly lowers himself back down and falls down to his elbows. And before you can even finish saying anything to him, his eyes just start to flutter back closed. His jaw goes slack and he just starts sleeping again.
I probably sit there for a minute and make sure that doesn't come out again, just to see.
And the longer you sit there, the more you realize that it does. It begins first as if his skin begins to crack at the wrist, and then peel away from a taut sunburn before it starts to layer into some heavy, thickened metal that twists between silver and black itself Each of the knuckle of the fingers look to be some gold or a fine polished brass itself. And the hand begins to rise again, and you can see the multiple arrowheads.
I'm not gonna know what this is. I'll probably call over who knew most about this. I'll probably call Aiden over. I'll reach out the tent and like, Aiden, can you come here and take a look at this?
He calls out, Aiden.
Yeah. Hold on. And he dots his book real quick, and then leaves it sitting open next to the fire for the ink to dry, and then he gets up and Rowan, what do you need?
And I'll open the tent and point to what's going on. Have you seen that before?
Okay, that's new. I mean, can we assume that Aiden immediately recognizes the symbol of Hextor just because it's so common?
Yeah, very much so. That's the gauntlet of Hextor.
He's asleep, isn't he?
Yes. When he woke up, it disappeared, but as soon as he fell back asleep, it reappeared.
Wait, we've got. Hold on, we got two people who have a holy bent to them. Carter, Solsara, you're kind of needed over here. We've got a Hextor conundrum.
The farm, you see as he starts to call out the others' names, the boy begins to stir, and you can witness the arrowheads themselves sort of begin to dissipate into like a fine dust.
Can I just pick him up and bring him back out of the tent? I'll hold him this time. Like, I won't put him down.
Sure.
But I'll pick him up and bring him outside.
Sure, of course you can.
And I'll just hold on to him and then see if he falls back asleep.
How would you do that?
I mean, you said he's thin, but like how big? Like average height? Like 5'8"?
5'8", yeah, something like that. 5'8", 5'9".
I'd probably I mean, I'd sit down on the floor and just have like his butt in my lap, I guess, and hold the top part of his body up.
Okay,
like,
so
towards
then
me.
you sort of like cradle him like a child.
Sort of, yeah. But his legs on the like, cause he's bigger, I can't hold him
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
I'll sit down.
I got
and
it.
Have him like that, yeah.
So his head will laggardly fall into your chest before like his eyes. He looks intoxicated. When you've seen someone that hasn't had sleep in so long that they look drunk. That's how he looks. His eyes sort of move about the room and follow some of the lighting before he inevitably just falls back into it. His jaw sinks to his chest, and you can hear the perfunctive, almost performative breathing of someone trying to sleep. But then after a few moments, 20 seconds, 35, 40 seconds, each of you can witness a gauntlet begin to appear across his wrist, to his fingers, and then come into this crushing, almost combat-like flinched fist, where you can see his hand begin to rise as arrows appear, like 5 or 6 of them. They're both between red and black, or combinations, and then blood begins to pool from the hand, running down the length of the haft of the arrows, beyond the arrowhead, and into the soil.
Once the blood hits the soil, does it dissipate or does it form a pool?
It dissipates.
Aiden will once again whisper and run his fingers across his eyes and take a look, detect magic, just to see what it looks like on the arcane spectrum.
When glancing in the arcane spectrum, you can see that it's a little difficult, right? It's a little difficult because before you saw that sort of like malignance that hung over him like a curse. And now where he is, this is a lot more. This is something that like bleeds from the divine. So this runic nature, it seems to anchor to his body in a variety of places. First and foremost, a few of these like arcane anchors to his mind and to his mouth. Another 2 anchored to his chest, likely to his heart. and then 3 more anchor to his gut, right around the navel.
Okay, this boy is definitely cursed.
Probably look at him with the detect fiendish presence on him.
Still remains the same. It's a lot of the same, but what you're seeing in regards to Hextor is not necessarily fiendish. This is divine. You are an individual of the divine. You recognize Hextor's gauntlet, both for you and Silsora. Hextor is not a quiet god. Hextor is a lawful evil god. But this boy doesn't seem like evil at all.
What would the god of tyranny be doing inhabiting a farm boy? Or his presence, if you were. I mean, take a look at these anchor points, and I'm assuming some of you might be able to look into the arcane. Because in Aiden's world, almost everybody has at least the ability to detect magic.
Can you cast Detect Magic? Not from Silsora.
I just look into
Not currently,
whether or
no.
not it's evil. This is not good. And Carter's hand like keeps flinching, like it wants to go down towards that morning star hanging on his hip. You're not supposed to be here.
And, well, seeing that they all look confused at what Aiden says, and he's trying not to pay attention to what Carter is mumbling because it kind of disturbs the back of his brain. He points out, this right here, and it's connected here and here and here, and he starts pointing out, the various points, and it's like, now, normally something like this, you wouldn't have multiple connections at one chakra point, but, I have no idea what's going on with this, but it is fascinating.
How could he get like this?
He cursed. I mean, and Hextor does have fiends working for him, so.
I don't like fiends.
Does anybody know how to remove a curse?
Generally, you head to a church and you get one of the, and you pay too much gold for one of the highfalutin priests to say some words over it, and usually it dissipates.
Well, pretty far from a church.
Bob, is this something that Silsora could do something about?
What would Silsora like to do?
She would like to try and see if Binding Ties affects it at all.
As a standard action, you can touch an ally and remove one condition affecting the ally by transferring it to yourself. The transfer lasts a number of rounds, equal to your cleric level +2, but you can end it as a free action on your turn. At the end of that effect, the condition reverts to the original creature unless it has ended or is removed by another effect.
Does this apply in this situation, I guess?
I don't know, Christy, you feeling brave?
Well, why not? I already got burned by one of my own party members, so might as well just go all in and figure
We're
it
not
out.
a party yet.
The person I'm stuck with for a week. My bad.
I did no such thing.
Silsora's feeling brave.
Okay. Do you do it? Do you do it in front of the others?
She probably won't explain what she's doing, but she is going to reach out and touch Dieter. Just on the shoulder.
Okay. And what does this look like? What does it look like for the others who are watching?
It's a great question. I actually am not even, I have no idea. I have no idea. Does the spell, offer, some sort of, visual cue? I don't think it's specified, so I have no idea.
Now this is where you afford
Oh,
yourself
this
some
is
creativity.
my creativity judgment.
Yeah.
Okay. She probably closes her eyes while she's like doing it to just focus on specifically Dieter and not at the people who are now looking at her because she's now in the front view. And it probably affords her some sort of wispy magic, something in the gold or yellow color scheme, probably matching her devotion to Paylor, between her hand and Dieter. As to if something comes out, I assume that something coming out would look, in her eyes, it would look darker, coming back to her from him if something does come.
So first and foremost, when you are in the midst of casting this spell, you can see the fatigue and exhaustion begin to sweep from his body. It moves like some aggressing wind. It dances up the length of your fingertips, down your forearm like muscles, fighting in action to determine what is going to go first. And that's when you're left with it. You begin to fall in a languid and exhausted pile. It's only lucky that you shifted to be nearest your allies, because where you were, if you had fallen the same way, it would have been in the fire. But where your eyes begin to dampen and darken, you're met with something else. You're met with something darker. You don't see the surroundings. You don't see the fire before you. You no longer see your allies. You do not see Dieter or Rowan. Aaron across the fire. Now, what you see is something darker. Something scarier. You feel it. Something scary. It ignites a fear in you. You're watching through the eyes of something that is crouched low to the ground as it continues to shift and move with speed unnatural to the legs of humanity. And where it moves, the surroundings blur behind it. They blur beyond it. It's swift. You instinctively look down and you can see these taut, brawny, hairy arms as you push several times from the ground, driving yourself each time, picking up pace and speed as you're kicking up the dirt with every pull. Your hands are muddied and bloodied as you can see the flesh of your own hands have been torn away and tapered down to the length of muscle and bone because you've clearly been digging for something. But as you continue to push on and on and on, you find your way weaving between trees as it runs like a river to the length of the forest, unsure what you're going to, each step colliding with the ground like a million horses' hooves. You find yourself amidst others like you, and these creatures are amalgams of twisted, venerated flesh, these horrors of the night. And you realize you're staring in a mirror at what you're seeing is a lowland baboon, but its features are not of some creature that you've come to recognize. No, what you see is something out of horror. A creature of malignance itself. Its body has been twisted and perverted under the creation of something that is not human, that has no understanding of or concept of what humanity is supposed to be like or feel like, but it moves with intent. And as you reach your allies and your comrades, the band of you begin to move forward, knuckles raking across stone and bark alike as you pull yourself closer and closer, deeper into this forest, when you finally hit a clearing. And it's like you bark at each other. You're ushering commands and echoes of trying to intimidate one another. Who's the first to go out? Red Rover, which one is going to be bold enough? Or which one is going to be stupid enough? But each of you watch despite your barks, your caws, and the coos to each other, and you can see it. move. That thing that lumbers amidst the tree line, that thing that is almost an ape, but not quite. Almost. In the flicker of the moonlight, amidst the canopy of the treetops before you, you can see its pale fur is matted with old blood and bramble, hanging in filthy ropes from a frame that looks wrong even at a glance. It's too broad in the chest, it's too thick in the neck, it has too many arms. 4 long, corded bunches of arms that uncoil in restless sequence. The claws flexing against the earth as it drags itself forward, its smaller, more taut legs ushering its own movement. It's an entourage in its person. But the claws flex again at the earth, each hand the size of a human face, knuckles scabbed, black nails curved like meat hooks. Its head seems too small for its body. It's sunk into its shoulders like it grew out of rage and not out of the bone. A blunt, heavy muzzle wrinkles back to show broken, yellow teeth, some snapped, some freshly sharpened by habit or by hunger, you are not certain. Its nostrils flare as it tastes the air around you, and you watch it pick your scent out of the world like a hunter recognizing a familiar trail. Eyes, not 2, but 4 of them, aligned into such a fashion that set deep beneath a ridge of bone, burn with an ugly and cold intelligence. There's nothing curious there, no animal wonder, there is no calculation, and the thin, bright edge of anticipation. And when it moves, it does so in a horrible loping blur, the forearms outward and swinging, reaching for purchase on trees, soil, rocks, and anything at all that it can find. And you hear the wet pop of bark as fingers dig in, the thud of its weight shaking the ground. It doesn't even roar right away, it doesn't need to. And then Christy, as it closes that distance, the sound that rips out of it is a hoarse, tearing bellow that's less of a challenge and more of a promise. It has hunted before, it intends to feed again, and the last thing your eyes see is the fingers pressing through the meat of your face. As you come back to, lifting yourself from the ground in horror. She sits there for a long time, her mouth agape.
Well, we can't see it. It's in the helmet.
Did she faint?
Briefly.
Also, when she did whatever, when she drawed that out from, did the arrows change or anything with his hand?
No.
Everything looked the same?
Everything looked the same.
If it looked the same, I wanted to try and do something.
What would you like to try to do?
Can I partially change part of my body? Or do I have to fully change?
You can partially change. I think so.
So I'd want to try and, not the gauntlet, but reach out to the arrows and shift my hand and grab the arrows.
As you grab onto the arrows, the only thing that is delivered to you in its form, when you take this, they don't even focus on the fact that your hand has changed, just that you reach out. When his blood touches your hand, you are given a single sensation. It is about a debt to be paid. There is a debt owed, and Hextor aims to claim. And that is where we call tonight's session.
Damn you.
Damn you.
It's already so late. Doesn't feel that way. We can keep going.
I just double the session. It's fine.
6 hour
None of us
session.
have other responsibilities.
We've only been doing this for 30 minutes. Why are we stopping now?
Y'all, I both as Christy and as Sora have no fucking idea what just occurred. I might have been in a fever dream for that like string of time that Bub explained this vision. I have no fucking idea.
You got to
Welcome.
be the cursed baboon for as long as it lived.
Welcome back to the Shackled City.
Oh
I-
my.
I hope it was a strong first start.
It's a metal intro to Shackled City.
Strong first start, I think,
yeah.
is an insult to how good of a first start it was. Strong's not a strong enough word.
I look forward to sitting down with each of you independently and discussing your characters from this point. We will likely have 3 or 4 more sessions of absolute confusion before you settle in to the skin of Aiden, of Rowan, of Aaron, of each of your characters. I want to see the comforts and I want to see how they change. Now, again, remember, I'm not here to hurt your characters. I'm here to hold you accountable for your actions and help you along. This game is punishment. It is hard for a reason. It was marked in the top 10 greatest RPGs ever made for a reason, because of the challenge that is before you. So I look forward to seeing what the next couple of sessions look like as you settle into the skin of the monsters that you've made. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for session 1. I hope that you come back and see us next Thursday. Until then... Wait a minute. Hold on. Is next Thursday? No. Next Thursday's good. We're good.
Yeah.
So until then,
It's 2 Thursdays from now. That's Thanksgiving.
we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Uh,